fast too. You can see where it does get underwater out here though. You see the stains on the trunks and everything. We made a brief stop right here on the side of the road. As you can see, the road is right here, okay? The road that we've been driving on. But we stopped here briefly because he had shown us where it looks like an X. Okay, so what I can see is this does look consistent with what I have seen in the past in other areas right here. You'll see the trees will be close at about a 45-degree angle. This one for sure is about 45 degrees right here. This one's a little slightly less, but what we find out a lot of times is the teepee structure of the X normally goes around about the height of about a very tall person is what we find a lot of times. So in this case, I would say maybe about 8 feet up is where the X would be at. And the X is clearly visible from the road right here. It is interesting because we don't get a lot of sign with trees in this region of the swamp. So I'll point that out. So I'm going to look for you said there was possibly a second one? You said you thought there was one here? And also, if you'll notice, there's no other trees. Okay, you'll see, I'm going to do a zoom right here. You'll see there's no other trees. No other trees in the surrounding area right here in this location that form an X. Okay? No other trees that I can tell. Well, since you was in a vehicle, it could change the dynamics too around. Yeah, this is all underwater right here. This is all underwater right here.
Yeah, that's why when we found what we found. Well, something right there. Once you get in.
And here's a tree right here where we think this tree was used for back in the old days in the swamp. They did turpentine collection off the trees, and they would get sap from them, and then they would take it through a process of some type of kind of like similar to like when you're making moonshine, corn mash, and you take it through a process of some sort, and they would be able to refine the sap. And they had they did things with turpentine, health things. They used it for all kind of things. But just showing you what looks like a tree right here that's been scarred from it. We're basically near there's a rancher's house in this area. That's what we think it is over here. But it looks like there's a rancher's house backed out away, and it looks like they're probably just cutting some timber down with some chainsaws. So we're in a different area. We're being taken to an area to where our guest is going to take us and show us some things. So that'll be coming up in a little bit.
Look at those.
So we're going to look at some things today. They wanted to show us some things that they had some suspicion of.
This one place I believe was probably wide open for the most part of it out here, because the way that block building is.
And your hunch is
the railroads used to come out through here. There's rail bed and old trestle up here. And then from there you can see where it was bermed out there, where they probably just used the gantries and ran the rail out into the swamp to get the timber.
Yeah.
And to our viewers, it's cloudy.
It's very
overcast, very humid.
Very the fog has lifted, but it's a little bit upper level fog right now. It hasn't burned off yet.
Expecting rain this afternoon.
Really? Okay, when we first drove in, I stopped about this far the first time. We just got out and we're looking around because we saw this other stuff over here.
Yeah.
And then we noticed that coming from this side over here, which is coming from that deep swamp we came up alongside.
Yeah.
Starting right here, there's eggs that were eaten, shells were dropped, going all the way across, back over towards this big tree, leading over to the orange tree over there.
Okay, I see the orange tree.
But I thought that was pretty weird the way these, I mean, they're like, it's not like somebody's got a, if I found a carton of eggs, I'd think different. You know, you guys, I'd never want to talk to you guys.
Right,
You know,
right.
but these are not friggin', these are eggs from the wild. They're either alligator or turtle.
Huh.
You know.
Well, critters, varmints, are opportunists. They normally devour and eat right there on the spot.
Yeah,
And if they're going to flee, I don't think they're going to flee very far with an egg in their mouth.
that's right. And they're not going to go get one egg, run back out, eat it in one spot, and then eat it
and then make
5 feet
a
away.
trail,
It's been a position anyway.
and make a trail with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting thing to see. So let's if you want to continue on. So let me get a little scan of the area real close. And now it is a bit of a clearing. Do you think there was a reason why there's a bit of a clearing? It was.
Oh, yeah,
Was this like
there
a
was a
turpentine thing or a?
Well, I think it was like part of a turpentine thing or part of the railroad, because the railroad grade was so close, especially off the branch line here.
Yeah, it's not too far.
So it might have had something to do with that, but there's a lot of barrels and piping out in the back. I don't know if that's prevalent with turpentine, but I know it's not just being a homestead. There's too much industry stuff there.
Yeah, so there's a reason why this is a clearing right now.
But there's steps right there, what's left of steps, some decorative palms that were planted there that are not natural to this area. And those orange trees and a well sticking up there.
Yeah.
There's an open septic over there. That's just a...
Yeah, there you can see the
septic
palms too, yes.
And plus, that pretty...
And there's oaks too back there.
Yeah, that's a pretty substantial shade tree right there for them to have their office under.
Yep, and that's common too, what we find out from when they see historical remains and stuff, you always see like a big oak laying around for shade.
Well, back where that cinder block was, that house,
Yeah.
that shower area,
Mm-hmm.
right off of that, where that concrete pad is right next to it, there's cinder blocks set up, spaced out. You could tell that was just an elevated wooden support, you know, for a wooden building. Well, those are all spaced out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's...
show you. You tell me what you think.
And you think, how old is this?
These eggs, when we found this stuff, the eggs still had a little bit of like gooey slime in them. You know,
Okay.
so it wasn't that old. And the oranges still, I mean, it was real dry then, but the oranges, wait a minute, right there.
There's a path right there, I think, too.
Yeah, wait,
So we'll go look at that also.
Let's see. Where are they going?
I don't, here's one.
There's one right here.
Okay, yeah, here it is.
There's another one right there. Do you know if it's forming a line? Does it look like it's forming any kind of a pattern or anything?
Yeah, it looks like it's a path right straight across.
And there's an egg right there too, as well.
You've got 3 right in front of you,
Yes.
and right directly behind you is another one. A little bit 10 feet away to the left is another one.
Oh, yeah.
So let's pick one up. Well, to me it doesn't have the shape and feel of a chicken egg. It feels kind of thin.
Right, and I'm thinking maybe...
It feels like it's very thin. So,
But they've been out here for what, about 2 weeks now? 'Cause when I first looked at it, it felt like they were pretty thick. So they might be doing some stage of deterioration.
and there's the second set, and it's a wide angle, so it's actually closer. It's actually closer than what the camera makes it look like. And then over there on the other side where Beata is standing, we're going to walk over there, and because they form a line. So something obviously was carrying the eggs as it was coming in this direction right here. So let's look over here. We're going to reconstruct something. These are more shattered, it looks like.
Yeah, look.
But if you had to reconstruct that, would you think something?
I would think it's at least this big or more.
Yeah, that looks like something. Maybe a tooth punctured it right there on this one. See this little small hole right here?
Yeah.
That looks like something sharp penetrated that one.
Could be a tooth. Crack.
But it doesn't mean anything. It just means what we're observing.
Right.
It could be.
Because you see all that residue right there.
Yeah, but what else is
This
it
looks
at it after it's been broken open?
Yeah, but this.
Right. That is true.
And also, it could have fallen, and something comes along and munches it down and shatters it
Right,
even
or
more.
even.
A lot of this stuff here.
Right.
Stuff that wasn't there when we first.
Well, and it could be that something ate it, and then a bird comes later on and picks the whatever else is left on it.
Yeah, because I mean.
But they're in a line.
Yeah.
They are
Right.
in a line. They're in a line.
All these little tiny pieces, it wasn't like that. It looked like if you cracked an egg into a frying pan.
Right.
Halves, you just might have one or two small pieces. That's what every one of them looked like.
Right. Absolutely, you're correct. It would have to be like that, or let me see. I don't know. And then it would be a hole.
Yeah,
see how like something sucked.
That looks like a tooth mark on this one, possibly right here. Yeah. That might match right there.
You know, like, and then you got so many bits.
That's a different egg right there.
You know, you have so many bit pieces. You know, I don't know if that. You know, you see this right here behind you.
Yeah, this one's been
right
crunched.
there. Yes. You know, you.
So, you know, I don't know, and I haven't done my research into how large turtle eggs are, or I know they fit about the size of gator eggs.
Yeah, but also, what kind of animal is going to run and get one egg, run out and eat it?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and keep on going.
It doesn't make sense. I would think turtles are the same way. They don't lay eggs in transit.
It's in a nest in a hole.
They make a nest in a hole. So the thing is that something would have had to get the eggs out of the nest and then bring them along here is the most logical thing that I can think of.
Like I said, if I found all these eggs in one spot and they're all chewed up and everything else,
then you would
that would
say,
be natural.
You would say a varmint
Yeah.
got a hold of a nest.
And it's in the direct path
Mm-hmm.
of the egg, so it's almost like comically it got thirsty after it ate.
So your hunch is something might have been eating some of these eggs right here that's
Yeah.
could potentially be holding on to eggs with their hands
Yeah.
and said, well, let me just get a change of let me change my palate here real fast and let me just suck on an orange.
And
Dadgum, is that a grave?
it is it's the septic tank.
It's a septic.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes.
This goes way back. All right, so where's the orange at?
She took me way back.
Well, there's the trees right there.
There they are.
Ah, a pile of them, yes. Okay.
So we veered off the path of the eggs a little bit. We got sidetracked, but it knew where oranges are, obviously. So let me locate the one.
Well, this one's been ripped open. This one right here, and this is consistent with what we find.
Yeah.
It looks like basically hands ripped it wide open.
Or maybe an animal. I mean, do they do that?
We're coming behind the fact, so, but I'm only telling you what I think I've seen, what I have seen on many occasions. A lot of times you'll see the fruit just torn wide open and just completely sucked out. Let me ask you this. Can you yourself pick any fruit?
I'm 5 foot tall.
Okay, so your arm goes up 6 feet.
Yep. No.
Can you pick any fruit on that tree?
No.
Where is the fruit at?
The first orange I see is right up there. These two. So what is that, 10 feet?
Yeah, 9.5, 10 feet up maybe. Yeah.
Fruit for the deers to eat or any other animal, you know.
Well, is there any low-hanging fruit on there? I see there's like 3 or 4 of these trees here. Is there any low-hanging fruit?
Over here, which I haven't been to, I see one. These are lower.
Okay. Well, there is some low-hanging fruit on this one tree. This tree has no low-hanging fruit. All the fruit is up way high, up high. Okay, and this is common also. And if you're going to think about people eating these oranges are very sour. And so, you know, what we're out here, what we're doing when we see these things is because, you know, we have a tip-off, obviously, from someone that contacted us this morning to show us some things. His speculation was he didn't understand why the eggs were in this line. And the eggs do appear to be in this line. So we're going to go back and look into the palmetto line a little bit more and see what's been coming through this area. But I can only logically think that there would be 3 foxes all following in a path. Each fox had an egg in its mouth after they raided a gator's nest.
Yeah, but there's more than 3 eggs.
Yeah, there was a lot of eggs. So how many eggs total you think there was?
8 or 9? 8?
8 or 9? What's going on with this area is I haven't talked about. It's what's going on in this area is this area has had sightings before. They're even listed on the BFRO website of having sightings in this area as eyewitness sightings, okay, not just glimpses and stuff like that. We're talking like full body shots. And the most recent sighting they've had in this area, okay, a young man that I work with told us about it, but we're not really that far from where the railway was at, which is now a bicycle trail. Okay, we're not far from that at all. What this person described to me was that he's seen someone come off the trail that looked like they were exhausted and looked like they were flushed, like they had seen a ghost, is how he explained it. And he was kind of panicked. They talked to the young man. They said, "What's wrong, man? Are you okay?" And he said, "I just seen him. I just seen him." And they were like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you just see?" And the guy said he had seen 2 Bigfoots. Now this was a bicyclist. So that is, and this was, I want to say this was just last year.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I see the fence post, and this looks like a path going through here, yes.
Right up there. It's a hell of a catch, ain't it? For that tree to cut that tree?
Okay, then let me go first. Because, then I can...
Branch in the crotch?
Yeah.
That one right there.
That right there, too.
Oh, that one's balanced between the 2.
What did I say earlier? Along human areas, where areas will frequent, what we find out is what we think is that when paths cross or become perpendicular or whatever, we see a sign at the edge of the path, so to speak.
Sticks right here.
Yeah, yeah, they are piled.
They're just piled up. This is part of the old fence post. Right there.
They are piled.
That's what it looks like. Part of the old fence post.
So you got...
Nope, it's not a... There's the size of that. So this is not a fence post.
Okay, well, see, that's
So...
I've been...
So you got to look for the sign. And so to justify your hunch, you know, your theory is that you're saying this is more than likely something 2-legged did it. And why would they be going from this side to that side? And that's where we just got to keep going.
Yeah.
And it's rained. You're not going to find prints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little bit further away from the group. And we'll have a look into the surrounding area a little bit more carefully. Okay. Because if something on 2 legs came in and out of this area, hopefully we'll be able to see some sign. Maybe something crunched, another break. A sign of something. So I'm just going to walk around and have a look. Now, there's 2 little round swamps over here, so let's go have a look at the swamp. And you gotta watch for snakes, big time. As you can see, this vegetation is pushed down in a direction like that. It just basically says something's came through here. I don't see any, like a large foot or any kind of thing that would look like a footprint. It could be animals just the same. And we're going all the way to the edge of the fern swamp. And this is where you really got to be careful because of water moccasins and alligators are in these swamps. So I'm trying to see if I'm seeing an obvious path or something. So it looks like this maybe has been 2 weeks, maybe has elapsed since these eggs got dropped. It's just dense brush back up in there. I don't hear anything or see anything. Normally what we'll see is a lightning strike on a tree that it normally tries to go all the way down to the base, all the way down to the bottom of the tree. And you'll see like this split that'll go all the way down the tree. Okay? And as you look at the tree is dying. So it looks like it's just still has yet to fall. But let's see if we can find the mark going all the way down to the bottom. Lightning is extremely, yes, and it does go all the way down to the bottom. See, right here, it goes all the way down to the bottom. And it just basically will split the tree. In this case, looks like the bark just got ripped all the way down, bam! And as lightning tries to find the ground, and sometimes just trees survive and sometimes they just don't. And it looks like a lot of stuff's been, looks like it's starting to hollow out too, so I don't know how old that is. I really dislike spiders. I went through a web and I think the spider is still attached to me. Somehow it's on my back, so trying to crawl up me. And interesting. They're all over the place. So I'm calling Betty over to have a look at this right here. Come look at this.
Oh, you smell it?
No.
No, there's something sweet. There is something sweet. Dang, Chris.
Well, what does it smell like?
Like perfume.
Ain't nobody out here got perfume on.
Well, I have perfume on, but it's not me.
It ain't me, I know that much. I sure ain't got nothing on.
Very fragrant.
But I don't smell anything that you're smelling.
I do. Dang. Watch out.
I know, they're everywhere. I got just spent 5 minutes trying to get one from crawling all over me. I don't smell anything. Okay, now come check this out. Okay, now, yeah, there's one I see in a tree. Okay, there's one I see in a tree. Come here and check this out. What are these guys called? These little things.
They look like part of aloe. Is it aloe?
Yeah, it's some kind of an air plant, I think.
An air plant?
They grow in attach themselves to limbs.
Yeah,
but that one's all looks like it's just been plucked apart.
Yeah, he's been chewed on. He's been plucked.
Someone's been plucked and gnawed it all apart, but it's all in one nice little neat little pile.
Yeah.
And I saw one over there that's still attached to a tree.
Yeah, they're air plants.
But I mean, what the heck, does animals nibble on them for something, or do they just fall off and they rot and they just do that? I don't know.
I see what happened there.
What?
Somebody looks like they gunned it like I did and shot off the notebooks.